There's too many children with children in this world. They can't
Stop
take
it.
care of themselves, and he don't need to be making no children. He needs to focus on school. He needs to focus on his education, not on making no babies. When I had my first child, I was like, it's not gonna be like that. I can't keep things from my kids, because if I don't tell them, someone from the outside is gonna tell them. And it's better for them to trust me and to learn the truth from me.
Because what she told me is that don't do it until you find the right person. And if you find the right person now, still don't do it until you're married.
There was lots of talks throughout the year, and I remember they would get me like books, whether it was like about my period or about like having sex or like, you know, healthy relationships. I mean, it wasn't like it was like abstinence only, but you guys were like, you know, the safest thing is abstinence. But you obviously, you talked to me about condoms, you talked to me about birth control.
And I know to abstain from it until a later age because it can really hurt my life.
There's so much going on in the schools. And so they come home and actually tell me what these kids are saying and doing. And we talk about it. We talk about actual examples of their peers' conduct. And that's how we get it out. And if they've got a question, if got us something to say, yeah, we take out the time to do it.
So I think that really helped too, is like helped our relationship to become more open. It was like never questioning, you know, what's the truth, or like hearing this from my friends and hearing this from my parents and wondering what's right. And I think that's the right thing, is to actually tell your kids what's going on, what's real. I definitely think I got a well-rounded view of what sex is, and that it's not just a physical thing and just something to go and do. It's like there's a lot to it.
There is no way two 15-year-olds can handle this kind of intimacy, and that's just something that we as parents know is true.
Holding hands lead to hugging, hugging lead to having sex. No, to kissing, then to sex.
I told her, get your husband first, and then have your children. You know, get something out of life. You know, don't cheat yourself out of seeing the world or doing something without having a little one there with you. You know.
That's how I always thought of it. If you choose to have sex, you're either gonna get pregnant or an STD.
I remember things from when we were way small, things that have happened that have influenced my perspective on people, and especially on guys. You know, I don't like to be messed with. If I have a boyfriend, they gonna learn, you respect me, I respect you. If he's a teen dad, the chances of him succeeding is very slim, because the cards are already gonna be stacked against him. You know, I was a teen mom, and I don't want him to go through that.
My dad respects my mom, and I understand that, and I understand their relationship, or I think I do.
She don't depend on nobody. She a go-getter, like me.
I know when I first had my first one, I was 19, and I didn't want her to go down the road that I went through. So I guess she didn't listen on that behalf, because I am a grandmother.
Our value systems were very different than the current value systems today. The media is just pumping sex at these kids. The media is telling these kids, if you don't have sex, there's something wrong with you. And so as parents, you have to catch up to it all and try to handle it the best way you can without putting a wedge between yourself and your child.
I was depressed. Like, everyone could tell. Like, she broke up with me on like a Thursday. I still remember it. And Friday I had to take a math test. Like, left it blank. Like, couldn't do anything. And I don't know. My life was just like, I just was doing anything at that time. Like, I was really vulnerable. So I mean, I was going to parties. Like, I was getting, I was doing all that stuff. And I don't know. I just like, once I sat down with my dad, like, I realized it was just like, wait a second. Why am I doing this? Like, I'm better than this. Like, I can, like, that was a huge learning point in my life. Just that, like, you gotta get through stuff, and you can't, like, feel sorry for yourself, and you gotta, like, take what happens, like, and just roll with it.
Me and his father, we have fun together. It ain't just, sex. But he nice, and I liked him, and he liked me, and we went to the movies. We did all that. We just had fun with each other. Like, right before I found out I was pregnant, I was finna stop having sex. I didn't want to have sex no more. I didn't like it. It was boring. I don't know. It just wasn't me, I guess. But then I found out I was pregnant, so.
When I was growing up, that was a secret. You're not supposed to tell, and when you become señorita, everything was a secret when I was growing up.
I wanted her to be as prepared as she could to make her own decisions. And I feel that to do that, she needed two things. She needed information, basic information, but she also needed a value base. She needed to kind of incorporate that into, what makes a good relationship? What should I be looking for in someone that I want to date or that I want to go out with?
I think that's so important. Even talking about like alcohol and drugs and like sex and things like that, I can talk to them and say, this is what's going on, like my friends want to do it, can you help me out? And they can, and say, it's a choice that you're going to have to face. Like that's something that you're going to, but what's right for yourself, and you know what you can do, and you know what you have been doing. And honestly, if you get involved in that, you're going to get yourself in trouble, and that's something that you have to deal with then, All the consequences that could happen, everything that could happen, any sort of STD or disease or anything, pregnancy, things like that could run through your head. And that's what helps, like, I don't want to get involved in that kind of stuff. And it is your parents too, talking about it, like, they wouldn't be proud of you if you did. Like, would you talk to your mom and say, oh, Mom, guess what I just did? No. So that's kind of, if I can't tell my parents about it, then I wouldn't necessarily want to do it, I guess.
Every time I got a girlfriend and they call, she usually talks to them.
I'm still a virgin. I'm very proud of myself for that. 16 and still a virgin. I'm very proud of myself.
They put this thing that like read my conversations online. So they read a lot of stuff that probably parents don't want to hear. And they found out that like I was having sex and stuff. And I mean, my dad got really mad and my mom got really mad, and they both like didn't think I was ready and stuff, and they freaked out, and I don't know, they wanted me to get really religious and like stuff like that, and like made sure that I knew that like you had to be in love. Like they told me all that stuff.
It was shocking. There was nothing that could prepare Craig and I for that. It was like he was my little boy one day, and all of a sudden he's involved in a very, very close relationship with a girl, and with a family that was completely opposite, or almost opposite of what our lifestyle was. So we had a lot of catching up to do.
But I wasn't a happy camper at all when I first heard it, so I'm just hoping she just pick up her life after the baby wants to get older.
It really ain't hit me yet, really, so. I see myself as extremely irresponsible. When I was pregnant, I took classes, like birthing classes. I took care of business. And then nobody had to tell me, did you find a pediatrician? I had the pediatrician and all. I had everything ready, well prepared.
The best advice we got was from other parents who went through situations similar to our own, and you just keep talking, you just keep dialoguing.
If she's around me, I'm going to be in their life. If I'm still up in good health, and the Lord let me see this, I'm going to be in his life. Helping her and encouraging her to be this mom.
I'm not afraid for her. I'm excited for her, and ever since she's been a little kid, I can remember watching her walk down the sidewalk when she was this big, thinking, there she goes. But that's what we've been grooming them for, is to go.